How are you doing? Right, going to move on to the next bit with the bike, because can't just keep riding it around, which it could be fatal, isn't it? You just about get the bike running and then you just want to ride it all the time. So I come in here and I was like, well, what am I going to do? We've got to tidy this thing up, and paint is next. I think I just kind of started rubbing the tank down, and there it is. So we're going to do a bit of a paint job, and I've got some ideas of what I would like to do with it. But before we start, disclaimer alert, I'm no painter, don't claim to be. So if you're looking for some kind of painting tutorial, this is not the place for that. But by all means, stay on and perhaps learn from my mistakes. So we'll see how we go. I've done a little bit, but you're always learning with this sort of stuff anyway. So paint scheme for this bike, I always really liked a sort of a Monza blue and the black that this bike had. I went with the Monza blue because it's kind of close to the original, one of the original Suzuki colours, and of course the black. And when I discovered that the my tank was knackered, I had a spare one, a red and black one, so we've got to colour match that now. So I picked up some spray paints, I've gone with black, and picked up some more of the blue. But I wanted to get a darker blue involved. On the old motor, I've got a darker blue rocker cover, and then some light blues. So kind of a nod towards the original Suzuki black and blues, and a bit of white involved. But you know, it's not perfect, it's not Suzuki colour matched or anything, but it's just, you know, you get the idea. So the black and the blues, going to add another blue in, and the way I thought I might do it was, I've got to do all of the bodywork again anyway. The nose cone's got stone chips in it, the tailpiece has got some damage where some old repairs have just come through and got, you know, so it's all looking a bit nasty really. So I'm going to do all of the bodywork, and on the black areas I quite fancy doing that marble effect, and I've seen a few videos on YouTube of guys doing the marble effect. There seems to be plenty of ways to do it, and I've got an idea of the way I want to do it so that it turns out sort of the way I like it. You can do the cling film, wrap it and then whip it off, or you can spray like a plastic bag and dab it on there, and I think that's probably the way I'm going to go with it. So I did a couple of test pieces here of colours. So that would be my black, and then I'm going to test piece dabbing silver on it and dabbing this blue that I got for the darker blue on it. Then I'm going to test piece the black on the blue and the silver. So it kind of depends really. I want it to show through, and I think maybe if I do a couple of coats, whether I want the base coat to come through with the colour on top, or whether I want the colour as a base coat and then the black dabbed on top. So we're just going to have to see how it turns out, hence the test pieces. I've rubbed the tank down. I've got a few spots here that need to be addressed. A couple of rust spots. There's a few there, one down this side which is a bit nasty. I have got a painter friend who's been giving me a little bit of advice here and there, but I don't want to hassle him too much, because it's like, well, if you want a good paint job, give it to him really, but I quite fancy doing it myself. So I've got some acid etch primer to go on the metals where the little rust spots are coming through, and then prime the rest of it and take it from there. So I don't know if I'm going to get anything sprayed on anything tonight, but that's an introduction, and I'll run a couple of clips now. Catch you in a bit. Okay, so we've got a bit of acid etch primer on here now over those metal bits that were exposed, just to get in, eat into that. Did that last night, around all those sort of suspect areas too. And I have got a bit of a dent there. Amazing how these things show up once you stick a bit of something on there. It's right on that crease, which is a bit annoying. But I'm going to mix up a bit of filler and get that in there. And also get into some of these little pits and that around that. There's one there. There's one there on that steel that I exposed. There's a bit of a thing there, and there was one here somewhere. But yeah, we'll get a bit of filler on there, get that to go off, and then we'll stick a bit of normal primer on. And then while that's going off, we'll come over here and have a go at these test pieces to try a couple of different methods and see what it looks like. So I'll do that now. Okay. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to try and find a carrier bag sometimes when you want one. Blue and black. I don't know about you. I do like the silver and black. Blue on black is, I don't know. Yeah, no, I think you've got to have the base colour and then black on the top. You know? Well, I reckon that's what it's going to be. Toss up between, I think it's going to be that one because I really want that other blue in on the bike. I suppose it really depends on, you've got to kind of get the right sort of handful of that bag really, get some good crinkles in it and try not to go overboard. Like some of these silver, like this area here is really good. That area there on the silver is really good. That's not bad. I reckon I would like to put that dark blue on there with the light blue, and then, you know, I sort of want that black, the black area of the bike to look black, and then it isn't until you sort of get a bit closer to it that you go, oh yeah, it's got some of the, you know, dark blue in it as well. Right, I've gone around that once, and as you can see, he's smooth to touch, but it's coming through to the underpaint, and there's still a lot of black showing as well. So what that tells me is, you know, it's quite rough, like highs and lows. So I'm going to give it another coat of primer, a decent coat this time, and then repeat the process really. I mean, again, like I said, I'm no pro painter or anything, so if I can just give it a bit better than your average just blow over, then that's good enough for me. So I'll do one more coat of primer, one more sanding down, and hopefully that'll be ready for a base coat. Another coat of primer, decent heavy-ish coat. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to give that a slight rub down now, And then we're going to be looking at putting a colour on there. I'm sort of at a dilemma whether to go with the blue, because obviously the blue's going on that main portion of the tank, and then the black's coming around here. Originally the black sort of followed the line of the knee point on that tank and then across. I think I'm going to have a little bit more black. I was tempted to follow that original Suzuki line through there, but I don't know, I'm just not sure. I kind of want this whole panel to be one colour. Maybe I'll end up following that same line again. Perhaps instead of going this line, I might come straight up and then follow this ridge here that comes through, and then across, and then back down through. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to put the blue on first. I thought maybe I would do the blue after I've done this, because if I mess the black up, then I'll have messed the blue up as well. But if I do that and then put the blue over it, there's a slight texture to the whole effect, really, because you're dabbing the paint on and you can't sort of rub it or smooth it back. So there's going to be an effect there which I've kind of got to bury in lacquer to sort of get rid of any of those ridges and bumps the best I can. I don't want the blue going over that, you know, any edge of that effect. So I think the blue's going to go down first, and then I'll do the black dabbing afterwards. Okay, okie dokie dokie, right. Let's add a nice mild rub over. It's pretty smooth, but should have a bit of something to grip on it still. Just caught into the red here, but I'm not going to worry about it all that much. So we're going to go with some blue now. Go really light dusting on it, and then work my way around and keep building it up. Okay, so this is like my third proper coat. I've done 10 minutes between each coat, and I've got some pretty good coverage now. But I'm going to give it this one last coat and leave that go overnight then, I think. Don't want to go too mad. And then I'll let that go overnight, I reckon, and then I can give it a bit of a sand down. for today. Yeah, I'll leave that harden off overnight, I think. Maybe 2 nights, because it's not exactly warm in here. Although it's not really cold. I think we'll be alright there. And I'll give that wet and dry, and once I'm happy that it's hardened off enough. So probably, you know, like I say, tomorrow night or the night after, I reckon. And then make my mind up where I want that line to go, where I want the black to go on it. But I'm happy with that so far. I haven't had any bad reactions so far. Seems like, I mean, there's a couple of little nicks that I can see now, the lights on it, like the colours on it. There's that bit there, and then there's just like I don't know, like from one of the decals, I suppose, that was on there. Just the odd bits, but you know, for a home paint job, I'm actually quite pleased with that. Yeah, it's gone all right. So until the next phase, I'll catch you in a bit.